Imagine the atmosphere inside Wrexham after yet another defeat. Tension behind the scenes, criticism aimed at the manager, and even an expensive player being left on the bench. But stay calm, because today I'm going to tell you the three main stories of the day about the club, and I promise you, the last one is the most controversial of all, and it could completely change the course of the season. So stick with me until the end, because there's hot behind-the-scenes news, criticism of Phil Parkinson's style of play, and a transfer decision that ended up backfiring spectacularly. Let's get started. News 1. Phil Parkinson's style of play is hindering one of Wrexham's big summer signings. Wrexham made history this summer by signing Nathan Broadhead from Ipswich Town for £10 million, the highest fee the club has ever paid. It was a huge gamble. He was expected to be the team's star, the player capable of deciding matches and lifting the side up the table. But so far, things haven't gone according to plan. Broadhead has scored only 1 goal in 8 games, and in the last match against Stoke City, he stayed on the bench for the entire game, without any chance to show his talent. For a player that cost so much, it's a frustrating start. Former Welsh footballer Owain Tudor-Jones shared his thoughts on the situation, and what he said makes a lot of sense. According to him, Broadhead has plenty of talent, but he doesn't fit Wrexham's style of play. The club operates a very direct system, long balls, physical play, and little creativity in midfield. This works for some players, but not for someone like Broadhead, who needs space, freedom, and intelligent movement to shine. Jones also commented that Phil Parkinson needs to tweak the system, even if only slightly. Continuing with the same style as always may be holding Broadhead back, and that could prove costly for Wrexham. After all, spending £33 million on new signings and failing to integrate your most expensive acquisition is a clear sign that something isn't working as it should. On top of that, the atmosphere around the club is tense. The team is currently 18th in the table, the fans are starting to lose patience, and every game without a positive result increases the pressure on Parkinson. If he wants to see Broadhead deliver, he will need to take tactical risks, adjust the style of play, and find a way to make the player central to the team. Otherwise, what was meant to be a historic signing could end up being seen as one of the club's biggest planning mistakes in recent years. The problem is that changing the style of play isn't easy, especially mid-season. It means moving key players, altering systems that have already been trained, and convincing the squad to buy into new ideas. But if Wrexham doesn't do this, Broadhead could remain stuck on the bench, wasting both talent and money, while the team continues to struggle at the lower end of the table. In short, this is a critical moment for both Broadhead and Phil Parkinson. Either they adapt quickly, or this multi-million-pound investment will end up being a heavy burden for the club. News 2. Phil Parkinson opens up about what he told the players after the defeat to Stoke City. Wrexham's latest match was one of those games that leaves every fan with a head full of questions. The team lost 1-0 to Stoke City, and the detail that hurt the most, it was the first time this season that the Red Dragons failed to score a single goal. A result that hit the squad's morale hard and created a lot of tension behind the scenes. Right after the final whistle, manager Phil Parkinson went straight to the point in the dressing room. He addressed the players honestly, analysing every detail of what went wrong, but also highlighting what could have been better exploited. According to Parkinson, the team completely lost its way in the second half of the match. At half-time, there was still hope. He believed the team could respond and turn the game around, but when the second half started, the players drifted away from the tactical plan they had been working on in training, and Stoke took control of the game. Even so, Parkinson praised the team's performance in the first half, especially when they didn't have the ball. He pointed out that Wrexham were organised, managed to defend well, and even created some dangerous chances. One of those came from Ryan Longman, who was presented with a perfect opportunity right in front of goal, but unfortunately shot wide from what was practically an open goal. That moment became the turning point of the game and was the last straw for many supporters on social media. Longman's error triggered a wave of criticism. Part of the fanbase is already questioning whether he should remain a starter, and the pressure on Parkinson, which had already been building, intensified further. The manager now needs to find a way to reorganise the team and restore the players' confidence, because the next challenge is crucial, securing their first home victory of the championship season against Oxford United. Parkinson also spoke about the importance of process and patience. He reminded everyone that not everything depends on a single match and that the focus should be on correcting small details and maintaining tactical balance, even when things don't go as planned. But the reality is clear: Wrexham cannot afford to make mistakes again, because the threat of relegation is looming ever closer, and every point dropped begins to weigh heavily on the table. For the supporters, Parkinson's message is a warning. The team still has potential, but they need to wake up and react immediately. If Longman and the rest of the players fail to find their rhythm and confidence, the coming weeks could be decisive for the entire season. In short, this defeat was not just a bad result, it was a red alert about organisation, concentration, and the urgent need for adjustments. The pressure is rising, the atmosphere behind the scenes is heating up, and Wrexham now needs to prove themselves more than ever. News 3. Wrexham snatched a player from Oxford, but the plan backfired. And now, here comes the biggest bombshell of the day, the story that will leave every Wrexham and even Oxford fan stunned. We're talking about Ryan Longman, the player that Wrexham took from Oxford United in January, but who has now become a problem on the pitch. At the time, it looked like a genius move. Oxford manager Gary Rowett had publicly declared his interest in Longman. He even said the player had obvious qualities and would be a great addition to the team. But when Wrexham entered the race, they acted fast, sealed the deal, and paid around £500,000 to Hull City, securing the player for the Red Dragons. Expectations were sky high. Longman was expected to be a key figure in the club's rise, helping the team climb the League One table and eventually reach the Championship. Indeed, at first, everything seemed to be going well. Longman registered 4 assists and scored 1 goal in 19 appearances, helping Wrexham achieve the much-desired promotion. It seemed the investment had been worth every penny, and both fans and the board were confident he would be decisive in the seasons to come. But reality quickly changed. In the latest game against Stoke City, Longman had an unbelievable chance, a virtually open goal, one-on-one with the keeper, and he missed. That error became the trigger for fans' frustration. On social media, supporters exploded with outrage, and the local press are already suggesting that he could be benched for the next match, ironically, against Oxford, the team that originally wanted to sign him. Imagine the irony. The player Wrexham stole from Oxford now risks not even taking the field against the club that tried to sign him. On the other side, Gary Rowett is probably breathing a sigh of relief, thinking, good thing we didn't get him, because the player is not performing as expected. This episode is a classic example of how a transfer made more for status or haste can turn into a problem on the field. It's not just about talent, it's about adaptation, confidence, and fitting into the team's style of play. Longman, who was initially seen as a promising solution, has now become a symbol of frustration. And the situation doesn't stop there. Pressure on Phil Parkinson has increased significantly. He needs to change how he uses the squad and find quick solutions because the atmosphere between fans and players is tense, and public patience is running out. Every decision from now on will be closely watched. If Longman doesn't respond, he risks losing his place in the starting 11 and becoming yet another problem for the manager to handle. In short, what seemed like a masterstroke in the transfer window has turned into a test of patience for the fans, a tactical challenge for Parkinson, and a delicate situation for Longman. Now, it remains to be seen whether he can recover, prove his worth, and regain everyone's trust, or whether this story will go down as one of Wrexham's tales of unfulfilled promises. So, to summarise the day, Phil Parkinson is under pressure for sticking to a style that doesn't suit Broadhead, the dressing room is tense following the Stoke City defeat, and Wrexham's big transfer move has turned into one of the biggest headaches of the season. But what about you? What do you think of all this? Is the manager right to stick to his style, or is it time to completely change the way the team plays? Leave your opinion in the comments. I want to see what the fans think about this moment for Wrexham. And if you want to keep following the hottest news and real behind-the-scenes stories from the club, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Because, judging by how things are going, the next chapter promises to be even more intense. See you in the next one.